We are live.
Yes, yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Vancity
Beats.
Eats.
and more.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Hey, wait, come back.
Oh, I thought you.
That wasn't it. What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. My name is Kazi. This is Jamal, and this is
Flipout.
Yes.
Yeah.
The one and only Flipout. We out here on the unceded, stolen, and ancestral lands of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and Squamish First Nations, what is colonially known as so-called Vancouver, or to us urbanites who live it and love it out here, we call this place Vancity. And today is week 12 out of 14 weeks that we've been doing this show. We've been covering the music, the food and art scene, the creative scene of Vancity, which is our community that we're super inspired by. And on the show today, we're very excited to have the one and only Flipout
Jamal.
and Jamal and me.
Yeah.
And so, if y'all don't know who Flipout is, he is a club DJ, radio DJ. He has been a music producer, a rapper. He's been a b-boy. He has been an interviewer. He's created a magazine. He has done a lot of things. The list goes on and on and on. In fact, before we even start this interview, we had to go through the stats. And we're just going to hit you with them one time so you know who is sitting on the hot seat today.
That's right. So, we got Flipout.
Yes.
Currently does the 5 o'clock traffic jam with Amy Spencer on 94.5 Virgin Radio. Longest running live mix show
hey now.
on radio.
Yeah, in Canada. And now the only mix show in Canada.
There you
On
go.
Top 40 Radio.
Yeah.
Hey
not,
now.
not everybody doing all the dope stuff on college radio and all that stuff. This is like Top 40 mix show, yeah. Live.
He was the host of the Red Bull 3 Style World DJ Championships and as well has won the Red Bull 3 Style Vancouver Champion of 2010.
Yeah, wow, 2010. That was quite a long time ago.
Yeah, 13 years, fam.
Okay, thanks for the reminder.
Also co-founder of Flippin' J Records, as you can see on his chest.
No, that one's me.
That was you with the hat?
Yeah, and that's Jay.
Yeah, which is a record label that amplifies Canadian hip-hop talent, exposing classic records to a new generation of music lovers.
True. That was nice. Did
Hey
you write
now.
that or did we write that?
You wrote that, and I took it off the website, fam. He is also the co-founder, writer, interviewer of Elements Magazine,
Oh, yeah.
which is a local Vancouver hip-hop magazine, the only of its kind that ran from 95 to 96 with 8 issues.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And
Next.
most recently was we published the. Were you going to ask me
issue?
that? Yeah.
No, but you go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah.
You sit.
We
You sit.
took the issues from 95, 96, the 8 issues, and we published a hardcover book, complete with artwork, new artwork from Dedos.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
I missed the boat on being able to buy it. I was in Mexico.
Oh man, yeah,
unfortunately.
we should have printed out more because people were so supportive that they went quick and more books, eats and more books. But yeah,
Yes.
thanks to anyone who has that. You have a literal collector's item.
Yes.
Because even if we print it again, we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna add stuff. We're probably gonna take stuff out. So thank you for the support because we did crowdsource it, and we also screwed up on the messed up on the postage.
What do you mean?
So we didn't put the proper postage, so we had to kind of eat the postage on a lot of the packages. So yeah, did you know that it costs $60 to send a book to Latvia?
Yo, someone in Latvia loves you.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
shout out to the homie in Latvia that bought it. Yeah.
Next up, we got Flipout was a b-boy in the original crew Contents Under Pressure.
I take offense to this statement
Why?
because you never were a b-boy. You
Ooh.
are
Yes.
a b-boy. You
Flipout.
are a breaker.
Still.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wrong choice of word there. Wrong tense.
He
Wrong
is.
tense.
I am a b-boy, and I was part of Contents Under Pressure,
That's
founding
right.
member of Contents Under Pressure. I actually made up the name. Well, Z-Lock made up the name from AA Crew. I'm going to do a lot of name dropping, but it's going to be names that you probably don't hear enough. So
Yes.
that's the whole point of it. So shout out Z-Lock from AA Crew. I think he's up north doing tattoos and stuff. So if he ever sees this,
Yes.
miss you.
And please correct us on any of these because this is just what we found off the internet, and the internet needs to be corrected.
Yeah.
Flipout was a host of many radio shows, The Show, Worldwide Ride, and Straight Goods, which aired on the Beat 94.5 FM when it first came out as Vancouver's first all-urban music radio station.
Yep. The Beat 94.5, and I'm still on that same frequency, and it's basically the same station. It's just changed format. So that's for 21 years, kids. I've been on your radio. When we launched, it was Fat Joe, What's Love was the big song.
Oh my gosh.
Tweet was playing every hour and a half. Oops, oh my, and yeah, Vancouver's #1 hip hop station. And we were playing lots of local hip hop too, from Toronto all the way to Victoria. Shout out to Langdon Auger. That's a name I haven't said in a long time.
Who's Langdon?
Langdon Auger was a kid from Victoria who had a hit song on our station all about, I think, Victoria.
Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, there are cool things happen at the beginning of the radio station. Now it's still cool, but it's completely different. And we don't play anything local. It all has to come through a record label and be pushed and by a label or radio promotion company. But I still get to mix records, mix the songs, play new stuff, play remixes, and I make my own edits and stuff. So I'm playing those constantly. So it's still fun.
We'll get more into that.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
Sorry
No,
to
go
interrupt.
ahead.
Please.
Something that's not on the internet, we have to go deep, is that my radio career did not start at the show with Jay Swing and Checkmate in '94 at CITR. And shout out Nardwar. I actually had a mix show on a station called Rim Jim, which is now Spice 1200 on AM. And Rim Jim is the first South Asian 24-hour radio station in Canada.
Whoa.
So my best friend growing up, Sudhir, aka DJ Flight, his mom is Sushma, who is one. I'm going to say her name later for someone that I look up to. Basically, a radio mentor and a legend in Canadian radio. She started a station, and we were 13-year-olds, best friends, and we got to do a show on the air. And at first, we were reading the little side clips from the province as news things. My voice hadn't even changed, just like pre-puberty. And then we got to do these birthday shout-outs where people, I guess, would phone in or something, and we play birthday songs, but like South Asian birthday songs. And so we just play it off the cassettes, and then we asked his mom, can we play our own music on the second half? And she's like, of course. So we started playing like Paula Abdul and Bobby Brown and Belle Biv DeVoe, and we started buying our own records, and we started getting into DJing. So we eventually dropped the whole the birthday part of it. Yes. And the show was called Fun Times when we were doing that.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm Fun Phillip, and he's like, and I'm Sudhir Times. So his name was Sudhir Times because it's kind of hilarious. He just did that on the spot. But when we made it our mix show, we called it On the Mix with DJ Flipout and DJ Flight, because he loved Janet Jackson so much. He named it after Flight Time, which is Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And he also liked the Flight logo from Jordan. So he was DJ Flight. I've been Flipout since I started rapping in like grade 8. And we were learning how to DJ and doing this mix show. And once in a while, someone remembers that, because these stations, the station at that time, you had to buy a subscription box. You had to buy a box because it was carried on the back of another signal. So you'd have to have a special box to get the signal at the beginning. So once in a while, I run into someone like, I used to listen to you when I was little. I know you did a mix show on Rim Jim Radio.
Oh my God.
So, and it's pretty crazy. So yeah, when we were 13, 14, we had our mix show.
What year would have that been?
That would have been in 1989.
Yes.
89, yeah. And we didn't know how to beat mix. We were figuring it out. Yeah. It was pretty amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're jumping ahead, fam.
Had you seen though? Had you seen people using turntables to mix at that time?
We saw it like in Tone Loc's video, Wild Thing, like DJ M Walk in the video. He's actually has a turntable that looks like a guitar. Yeah. He's like, and then of course Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince. Turntables used like that. You know what? That's such a good question. I don't really think about when I first saw an actual DJ doing that, but I think it had to be Jeff. It had to be Jeff on the video. Any rap video from that era, there was the DJ in the video. So that's probably the first time. But on the radio, hearing DJ Jazzy Jeff, Fresh Prince, Tone Loc, Young MC. Young MC didn't have a DJ though. But taking it back to there.
Wow. So you see who we're sitting with, a hip-hop encyclopedia full of knowledge, and we're going to get into more stories for sure.
Well, we even dug up pre-1989 that you received like a turntable with a picture disc.
Oh yeah.
And that
Pinocchio. Yeah.
And that you said you grabbed your sister's turntable and made your own radio station.
Yeah. Wow. Where did I say that? That is the one. MAJIK radio in Burnaby. Magic. And my theme song was a song by Pilot called Magic. Oh, 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 it's magic, you know. I believe it's not so. So I would play that song and I would be like, play it and be like, welcome to MAJIK radio in Burnaby. And I'd be in my room by myself with I think a Winnie the Pooh turntable and some other turntable. And I would play a song after song. So I saw this set up somewhere, or maybe innately. I mean, I still like doing it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's just like
what made sense to you.
Yeah, it made sense. And I would be in my room by myself playing my dad's records. And it's something that I lament, I guess is a good word, is that my parents didn't have a better kind of taste in music, because all I had was like Portuguese records and like some Canadian, some like American records, but I memorized those. You know, I remember Paul Simon, Me and Julio by the Schoolyard. It was on this record that was a cover. It was cover songs. It was people covering all these hits, and that song stuck out to me. And I'm like, and to this day, I know it by heart, right? Because I used to listen to it, and I gravitated to it. So I'm just imagining my parents had like one James Brown record, you know, like friggin' some jazz, like anything like that, because I was like, oh, this Rod Stewart B-side is awesome. You know, even Tom Jones, it's not unusual. The B-side is a song called She's a Lady, and the song starts with a snare. So it goes, ta, like this, and I practiced to do scratching on that snare.
Whoa.
Wow.
So I wore that snare the F out. And I learned how to do chirps because I didn't have a fader. I just had this turntable. So I didn't actually own my own pair of 1200s until Jay Swing and I got in a car accident, and I had enough money to buy turntables. Like, this is 6 years after I started DJing. I would always borrow Sudir's, or I would borrow Chemo. Chemo would lend me his sometimes. And then finally I got my own. But, you know, I would borrow people's turntables, and then I would learn how to use it more than they would. They'd be like, you can just continue to use it. You seem like you're doing more with them than I am. But yeah, good questions, guys. You're spiraling all the way.
What's hilarious
we only have 1 hour.
Yeah. We haven't even asked our question. We were like going through our Flipout quick stats. I'm just gonna finish them quickly.
I'll try to keep it quick.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, this is our time with you now, and we're taking
great.
full advantage. He came up in Vancouver's hip hop community with credits on albums including production, cuts and scratches, writing lyrics, MCing, running record labels, working with some artists such as Madchild, Rascals, AMP.
You want me to?
Any more if you want to add to it?
I don't remember.
As a DJ and performer, he's opened up and worked with artists such as Raekwon from the Wu-Tang,
Facts.
Talib Kweli, Jay-Z, Biz Markie, Grandmaster Flash, Nelly, Ice Cube, Lil Jon, Jermaine Dupri, Maestro, Fresh West.
Jermaine Dupri. Oh, that must have been at a concert. That's right. Oh, that's crazy.
Amongst many others.
Raekwon, can I just interject and make
Go.
this super long?
Yes, please.
Yes.
I actually didn't just open for Raekwon. I think I did once, but I was his actual DJ at least 3 times. So the first time was in 2002. He played at Richards on Richards, and
We
they
saw a
needed
video
a
of that.
You saw that?
Yeah.
Playing records, and I was wearing my huge black leather jacket.
He shouted you out.
Yeah, and they looked for a local DJ in every city, and I got, someone said you should get Flipout. So I remember being backstage, and he's going through the show, and I remember seeing he had like a custom Wu-Tang Rolex. It was so sick. Yeah. But like, that was the first time, and that was the day that Big Pun died. So he actually had to announce it on stage.
Whoa.
It was a crazy moment. Then I was his DJ again another time. I forget where it was, and then another time at a venue, and then at the 420 Fest, I was like his DJ playing his music. So he remembers me, and I was like, you have to interact and put his set together. And I got to give a shout out to Raekwon because I think he's like a phenom, like a rap kind of superhero in real life. Because I never seen him ever screw up a lyric. I don't know if you've seen Raekwon live. And I think he performed like all of the song Triumph. Like he knows all the other rappers' parts too. Like he seems like a genius.
Yeah. Someone who like remembers lyrics and never forgets them.
Yeah. Like I can actually remember records and music and I never forget them. So I can see like a record once and I have a pretty good recollection of that. So I think that's what's helped me with DJing. It's always kept me like exciting because one thing will remind me of one thing that will remind me of one thing, and I'll just spiral in my mind. Sometimes mostly good, not bad, not a downward spiral, but a positive spiral. And you can see by the way that I talk that I do it verbally as well.
Yeah, you really do.
Okay.
Yeah, as we were preparing for this interview, like Jamal and I went on a deep dive. And what's really cool is because I have seen you, well, first of all, I grew up listening to you on the radio, on the Beat 94.5, on my ghetto blaster, which is a little contraption that you put CDs or cassettes into and have an antenna to find the radio frequency.
Boombox.
Yeah. And I would listen to you, and then I guess as I got involved with producing hip hop events, you actually came and DJ'd one of my events, the 4 Elements of Hip Hop, which was part of Van Mural Fest a couple of years ago, and that was really dope. And
that was the one, outdoor one.
That was the outdoor one.
That was amazing.
That was really fun. You did an all 45 set.
Yeah, and I played music that I never expected to see a large crowd dance to. This is so incredible, like very, very cool. I think about that often. I'm like, I wish we could do that all the time.
No, it was special. And it was also you just coming off of Playlist Retreat, which is a retreat that Jazzy Jeff does with a bunch of different producers, DJs, and musicians. So you were
at his house.
At his house, his property.
His property.
His hacienda. Yeah. And so you were super hyped from that. But, you know, you've always been someone I've seen around the hip hop community, very supportive of the next generation that's coming up. And when we started doing our research, it was like then that I realized, like, oh my God, it goes deep. Like just the work that you've done and who you are in terms of putting Vancity on the map and really pioneering and advocating for Vancity, but also Canadian hip hop music. And so we were like, how do we fit in everything we want to talk to this guy about in an hour? And so we had to really just like kind of like go into like, let's divide into sections. So we want to start from the beginning. You kind of touched upon it already.
Elaborated.
Yeah, you really did. But tell us more about your upbringing. Where did you grow up here in Vancity, and how did, you know, your upbringing, your household kind of foster your love and passion for music?
Grew up in Burnaby. I was born in Vancouver. We lived in East Van for a while, and then we moved to Burnaby when I was very young. I mean, there was records there, and there was a hi-fi system. It was actually, it looked like a dresser drawer. You'd lift it up, and then the record player would be in there with a radio. Then you put the records on this thing that had a arm that was a magnet, and you would literally stack all the LPs you wanted to play, and they would just hold it up, and then one would drop. And then the needle would go automatically and go on there. It would play. When it ended, needle would come off. Next record would drop magically, one at a time. So it would just, it's like a CD changer.
Right. Oh my
Which
gosh, CD
you
changers.
might not even know what that is. I'm going way back.
You just threw them back and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this one can fit
You know
5
what-
CDs.
You know what? It's
Yes.
it's a playlist. It's a playlist, except you can't put play next. You can't change the cue. You know, it's your Spotify playlist, except it's physical, and you have to play an entire album.
Yeah.
Or you can play singles. But anyway, there was music there, and you know, I have 3 siblings. We all were into music. I was a middle child, so my brother was into. We all listened to AM radio. AM radio was big, and a lot of people my age, from my generation, that's all we had at a certain point. Like, not everyone has cool parents who have, you know, all of friggin', you know, Roy Ayers records on their wall and listening to James Brown, Stevie Wonder. Like, a lot of people do, but a lot of people don't. And even if they did, they still were in the car and they could only play AM radio. So AM radio was a lot. 14C Fun and LG 73. And I always enjoyed pop music. I guess that's why I'm still kind of in it. And that's why I don't discriminate or judge it now, because I'm like, you know, it's just what's new. It's just like whatever was new back then. Although the 80s has lasted better than any other, I think, era, of pop music, especially new wave. Okay, see? Brain goes crazy. But anyway, so there was music, and my brother listened to, like, he was a big Iron Maiden fan, but he also loved Sting, and he was very rock heavy, and he's like 8 years older than me. Then my older sister, she's 6 years older than me. She actually was into R&B and hip hop, and one of her tapes that a friend of hers made, who worked at McDonald's with her, Rodney, shout out Rodney, it had like Big Daddy Kane, Ain't No Half Steppin', had Levert, Just Coolin', it had I think It Takes Two. Like, it has songs, and I was like, oh, why do you like the same stuff that I kind of like, to my older sister? But we never really bonded around that time with that. But it did influence me. And then my younger sister, she was into like Big Shiny Tunes, and she was into New Kids on the Block, but then she got really into like Green Day and stuff. So in the 90s, I was super duper into underground hip hop only. Like, I wasn't open-minded to anything. I actually thought all other music was whack. So when someone talks about 90s like alternative, like even like Alanis Morissette, stuff like that, all I have in my mind is like, oh yeah, I used to hate that. I liked underground hip hop. I liked, you know, Gemini the Gifted One, you know, a white label from Brooklyn, you know, that Jay Swing would get in the radio. So, but anyway, taking it back, I had a lot of eclectic kind of, a lot of different music, and I couldn't choose. So I kind of gravitated toward the Beatles. I took my brother's Beatles cassettes and I just listened to them over and over again. And Steve Miller Band. Those are the ones that really stick out. Steve Miller Band sounded like so futuristic to me. Then, when I got into hip hop and started learning that they're sampling records, I went to go to a secondhand store. I remember one in New West, right at the Key there, or on the street there, Columbia. And it was like $1 a record or 50 cents a record. So I sat there and I listened to a bunch, and I just was like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. And what I did inadvertently, subconsciously, is I got a lot of disco records. And I played $50, a $50 bill, which I got probably for Christmas or my birthday or something from my grandparent. And I gave it all. And,
So you
I bought a stack of used records.
Like,
I was,
50 to 100 records. Right?
No, like
$1.
no, like
$1 or
100
50
like
cents.
100
Okay.
records. Yeah, no.
Okay.
No, they weren't 5 cents. They were 50 cents or
Yeah.
$1. Okay, but in that was the like disco records, and I just remember putting on like A Taste of Honey, Boogie Oogie Oogie. You know, get down boogie, and I was playing it. And I'm like, this sounds like the best music ever. Like, stuff used to blow my mind as I was searching for records. So, like, after the Beatles and Steve Miller Band, somebody introduced me to hip hop, showed me some hip hop videos. My friend Tawfik, shout out Tawfik. He showed me all these videos, and I was like, wow, this is
Like music videos?
Music videos, yeah. He had it recorded, and I started obsessing over hip hop. So
Was that, I guess he had it recorded on VHS, or were you
On
watching a
VHS.
program?
on VHS, he had it recorded on VHS. So man, there's so many things that kind of sparked me. It was like coming in from all angles. Like I heard like Mary Mary, and then I couldn't, by Run DMC, and I couldn't stop thinking about that song. I heard it once and I'm like, what was that song where they had, man, why you bug, and had the drums, and then Tofik was like this, and it's from this album, they have this song, and I'm like, holy smoke, this is the best thing I've ever heard. And then found Public Enemy and KRS-One, and I'm like, oh, they're talking like their music is the best music and all other music sucks because they're smarter. And I'm like, that's cool. And you know, Chuck D was dissing R&B and radio, and I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, why are all these songs sound the same on the radio? Why is every song about love and all this stuff? Like, why aren't we? And it just super appealed to the nerd in me. And little did I know that those are the best quality hip hop at that time that still stand the test of time now, 35 years later. But like everything was just. I also like Two Live Crew, and it was crazy that it was so raunchy that it appealed to me, because it was like, oh my gosh, I'm not supposed to be listening to this. Yeah. Luckily, my mom doesn't understand anything. But the beats, Miami bass is like a foundation in hip hop too. Like that whole style, like that's where Pitbull and Flow Rider are from. You know what I mean? Like Miami bass is a whole other genre within hip hop. It's just, everything was just incredible to me. And Mr. Mix from Two Live Crew was like a dope DJ and had scratches and samples. I don't know I went back, and I've always loved records. And when I started finding records that I actually liked deeply, it just snowballed and has never stopped.
How did you get into the other elements of hip hop?
So the records were always there, always into music. I didn't know what rapping was. I got into that when I saw like 2020, the news show called 2020 that was on the weekends, Friday or Saturday. Anyway, they had a thing on apartheid, because that's how old I am. Yeah. Apartheid was still around in South Africa. And they did a thing on some artists that were against it, like Stetsasonic. And Stetsasonic had done a song called Africa, Africa, Angola, Zimbabwe. And it was a song like bigging up Africa. And I was watching, I was like, oh, that's friggin' cool, right? And I went up to my room and I wrote a rap about the Cold War. And I was like 13. I was in grade 8. And it's war, it's everywhere. All these weapons give me a scare. PEACE, that's for me. Peace, tranquility. Hey. One of them is Mikhail, the other one is Ron. They're both pretty stupid if they want to drop the bomb. Something. So I made this war rap, peace rap. Yeah. And that was like, it just made sense to me. I'm like, that's such a great message. And I was all about this message, and it was all like conscious and stuff. I'm not mocking myself, but but yeah, I did that. And then I actually performed it in grade 8 at Moskrop for this talent show. And I went to Moskrop, and it was like Mr. Mini Moskrop thing, and I won.
Like a talent show.
Yeah, a talent show. I won this little medal, and then I kind of became known as the rapper. There's this other kid, Rizwan. Shout out to Rizwan Karim. Rizwan did this rap, but he did this rap that was going around like, my name is Ron, and I'm the prez. I don't really care what anyone says. He did this beatboxing and stuff, and it was very cool. And I was like, before I went on, I remember saying like, I can't do all the beatbox stuff. I actually am just gonna recite this like a poem. And then everyone's like, oh, that was deep. You know what I mean? And I won, so I known as the rapping guy. Then the next year, I was on the environmental committee as the rapper. So I wrote an environmental rap all about environmental recycling, climate change and all that. And I was in the English honors class, and we went to the steps of Parliament in Victoria, and I performed this, and we all were there, and I performed this rap for an environmental thing. And the best thing about that was whenever I was in class, I would be like, I got to go work on my rap. So
you can leave?
Yeah, so Miss Morgan, shout out to Miss Morgan. She was one of the best teachers of all time. She would like, go ahead, go to the book room with the boombox, the school boombox and work on your thing. And guess what I would do? I would go make mixtapes. So I just have tapes that I borrowed from friends, and they had a dual cassette thing, and I would just make mixtapes. I wouldn't be doing any raps.
Explain to the children of 2023 what making a mixtape entails.
You had to, instead of just going and finding your song on search, you had to physically search for it everywhere, find it on a cassette, and then put it in this box, choose one song, and put it on another cassette in the order that you wanted. And this would be as long as the song is as long as it would take.
And
So-
you'd have to press the play and the record
Yeah,
button
record button. So
and play the whole thing out up until you're done with the recording.
yeah, exactly. It was a long process, but it was fun. But I started rapping first, and I called myself Phil the MC. Then I called myself Funky Fresh Phil, or 3XF. FFF. Funky Fresh Phil.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I was like, these are whack. I was like, I need a name that is a verb. Flipout. So I named myself Flipout.
That just came to you.
Yeah, in grade 9, because I was like, oh, I can use that. So I was rapping, and then I liked music. I was doing the pause tapes, and then dancing. I just saw these guys that I thought were super cool at the school dance, and I wanted to literally be their friends and be down with them.
Who were
so I
they?
practiced. It was Jose and Rob Risk, and Stuart and Mandeep and Barry. Oh, actually, Barry was the one with me, Misfit from Rascals. But I saw them, and they did like an air band to New Edition, and I was like, that's so cool. They're such good dancers. Like,
Yes.
I really want to impress them. So I went and practiced by myself and wore my church clothes to the next school dance, like church shoes, because that's what people were wearing. They're wearing dress shoes and stuff.
Right.
So I wore my church outfit
If you were practicing by yourself, where were you learning the moves?
from Bobby Brown Every Little Step video. Me and Sudhir, actually. Me and Sudhir. So Sudhir was a little more shy with it, but I went in the circle and I was like, I want to battle. I want to be down with you guys.
Yeah.
And they ignored me. But then my friend Barry, Misfit, he saw me do a air band. I did Flavor Flav for 6 minutes, and everyone almost booed me. And he's like, that's music, man. And then he's like, you want to make a dance routine together? I was like, sure. And he was like a year younger than me, so we were called Strictly Dope. And we battled the GCK posse, which was Jose, Rob, and Mandeep and Stuart and them. And we battled them, and we actually battled Burnaby Central. So we battled Central. We went to their school with our crews. And they came to our school, and we did good as a duo, me and Barry. So then GCK Posse is like, why don't we just all make one big group? Because you guys are dope. So finally, I got to be in with these cool guys.
You earned the respect.
Yeah, and then later, most of us became Contents Under Pressure. Rob, Jose, and me from the original GCK Posse from Moscrop. So, and that's why Jose and I had a good chemistry, because we were kind of partners always. We knew how each other moved. It's a very cool thing to experience with someone. So yeah, so that's the dancing, and I would make our dance routines music.
Yeah.
And then one time I was like, oh, I rap, guys, and they're like, let's hear it. So I did this rap, and it was like I worked at McDonald's, and I wrote a McDonald's rap.
Yeah.
So they're like, that's dope. And Mandeep's like, you should write more raps. He said it like that. He's like, you should do that more. That's dope. And I'm like, this is how he talks still. Yeah. That's dope. You should do that more. And I'm like, really? You guys like it? They're like, yeah. So I was like, well, I have this staff meeting, and they want me to do a song. So I told the at McDonald's, and I told the manager, and the manager's like, get your friends, we'll make a video. So we made a video for Clean As You Go, this song that I made.
Clean as you go.
And we recorded it.
Do you remember it?
Man, I remember everything.
Okay, do it, because Clean As You Go, I feel like everyone needs to learn that lesson in their lives. Your parents will thank Flipout.
Okay, this has been coming out quite a bit in the last few years. So
What has?
this song,
Are you teaching it to your daughter?
I might have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. McDonald's is a place people come to eat. They expect a clean place that's nice and neat, but a clear table and a clean seat is not the only thing that makes McDonald's complete. You need good food, good folks, and fun. A cooked patty in between the bun. Quick service that's second to none. As for cleaning, let me show you how it's done. First of all, before you even start to work, you gotta wash your hands, clean off all that dirt and germs that have accumulated on your hands all day. Yo, do it in the right way. Or food poisoning might turn homicidal, so I hope you don't forget the germicidal soap. Or the antimicrobial hand wash. Yo, don't forget to clean as you go. Keep going. Go, 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 go. Clean as you go. Go, go. Keep going. Go, go. This is literally a song. Go, clean as you go. Go, oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. And I had a second verse and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, it's grade 9.
You got me at microbial, fam.
Yeah, antimicrobial hand wash. Yo. And the way I rhymed it, I said, so I hope food poisoning doesn't turn homicidal. Homicidal. So I hope you don't forget the germicidal soap.
Whoa.
Like, I don't even know what rhyming scheme that was. It's too much.
A-B-B-A.
Yeah. It was like A, C. Like, match these and these.
Wow.
Anyway, yeah, so I was doing everything at once. And I never did graffiti, so we don't have to talk about that at all.
Yeah. Leave that to Dedos.
Leave that.
Virus.
Literally, when we, just like we formed the crew with the with the GCK posse, when we started going to all ages dances, hip-hop dances, where Kilo C was the DJ.
Shout out Kilo.
Shout out Kilo C, the Grand Imperial Kilo C, Tableless Lounge, Vancouver. We saw these guys from East Van, and it was CIA, which was Romeo, Red One. Government name drop. Romeo from Rascals, Red One, and his friends, and like Dedos and Zebrock, who were already famous for dancing for EQ and dancing for Mike Desire. We would see this at these all ages dances. So we battled them a few times, and then they're like, why don't we just all hang out? And that's how I met them. And yeah, exactly. When you're friends with Dedos, Virus, and Z-Lock, you don't touch graffiti because they're the best of all time. Yeah. They taught me how to hand style my name, and that's about all I can do. But yeah, so that's just kept going.
And then DJing.
DJing was always there because I was making the mixtape. So Stuart in the GCK posse, he had a mixer and turntables. So that's one example where I learned to kind of use it better than they did because I just was so into it, right? They had it because he had 2 older brothers who were really into hip hop. And keep in mind, the GCK posse was not only were we were one of the only people listening to hip hop in our school. It was literally, we were the outcasts of the school. Like everyone was listening to Tragically Hip. That's why I don't like Tragically Hip. It represented like a whole like kind of like you guys think you're cooler than us kind of mentality in high school. It was very interesting, and I don't listen to any skater music either because they were kind of standoffish too. You know what I mean? I'm just dissing all this other. We were super nice, man, and it was like me. I'm Portuguese white guy. Jose, Filipino immigrant, like he's literally born in the Philippines. Stuart Leong, Chinese Canadian family. Mandeep, Jyoti, Sikh family. Rob Risk came from Beirut when he was 10. Didn't speak any English. This is my crew. And Barry Leonard, a Caribbean Canadian. African Canadian. Yeah. Anyway, black guy. Yeah. From Montreal. His family's from Montreal. With I think he's Trinidad roots. Oh, I don't want to say that.
Or maybe Haitian.
Not Haitian. Okay. Not Haitian for sure. But anyway, Barry and we were just this like United Colors of Benetton crew. You know what I mean? And our crew name changed from GCK Posse to Club Scene. And the club was Courage, Love, Unity, and Brotherhood.
Nice.
Or no, the 6 of clubs, because there are 6 of us.
Right.
And then it turned to Club Scene when we started performing at all ages dances. Mandeep started rapping with me. Yeah. And then they were dancing, Rob, Barry, Jose, and Stu were dancing. And then at one of those all ages performances, Red One from the Rascals poached Barry from our crew to dance for the Rascals.
Wow.
So Barry left us to go be a Rascals dancers. Fast forward to him being one of the MCs in Legendary Rascals.
Wow.
So it's crazy, like to to think about that stuff and where people have ended up going and how we got there. You know, there was lots of rap contests we went to at Oak Ridge Mall. There was performances at like cafes after it was closed that only like 30 people were there, and I remember people had their little rap groups. We all had little rap groups. We all knew each other. Some of us didn't like each other totally, but I think we actually all liked each other. And it's crazy because I grew up knowing all these people, and like the black community in Vancouver is kind of small, and back then like it was even smaller.
Yeah.
So I'm so like happy to like I'm crying. Aww. Oh my God.
It's okay.
To grow up like that. You know what I mean? Oh my God.
You are not the first to get emotional on our show. I don't know what it is about giving people the platform and space to share their stories, but it's that deep dive.
Yeah.
I would love to know at that time, what?
Oh,
We can
man.
take a moment.
Yeah.
We can take a moment.
What's coming up for you?
Oh no. It's very interesting. Very sensitive dad, I think. Yeah. I think because like things haven't changed at all in the biggest scheme of everything. So it's like, you know, listening to Public Enemy back then and learning all this stuff, and it's just like I'm so privileged to have information like that, and people don't see things that way. So because it opens your eyes up, and you're like, if you don't know, if you're not exposed to information about other cultures, other races, then you're missing out. You know what I mean? You're like, you're being dumbed down on purpose. Like, don't learn about anything else, and like you're just missing out. There's so much more to know. You know what I mean? Like keeping things separated and doing all this stuff is just, it's really it's a disservice to everyone. You know what I mean? Like it's just super sad.
Is that something that you witnessed?
I just see it all. I just see stuff all the time. Like I know just in society. Like I'm talking on the grand scheme of society. Like people are still like just prejudice and just so even basically rude to each other, or this food smells weird, or like, you know, like people are just not, and then people are not raising their kids to be open-minded to stuff. They're just keeping them closed-minded. And it's when I was young doing these raps, I thought like it looked like people were getting together, and I always thought hip hop's so cool because look at us all together, which is true still, but it's still like outside of hip hop, even though hip hop's gotten bigger, outside of it is just like oblivious. Like I can't really get along. I don't really connect with people really deeply. Just in like it's hard. You know what I mean? So something like the playlist retreat, not only is it like something that I'm honored and never thought would happen. It was such a like incredible friggin' honor to be invited by Jazzy Jeff. It's to see real people and to be a part of them and be invited, literally invited. So if you're in hip hop, you are invited. If you're not black, you're invited to hip hop, no matter who you are, right? It's an invitation. And even a bigger scale here, we're invited to live literally here in Vancouver, on this land, so-called Vancouver, you know, like, and people just are not open enough to accept that, because it doesn't affect you negatively. It's just a fact. And if you accept that fact, you'll probably live happier. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to hurt you to say, this is stolen land. Black people created music. I am a visitor. It doesn't hurt you. at all. It just it actually opens you up more because you're accepting the fact. These are facts. This is not it's not an opinion. That's what people are misconstruing. It's like facts. The land was never signed over.
Yes.
Fact.
The definition of unceded.
Yeah. So, fact, black music came from, like, black people created hip hop in, like, we're not talking about rapping. People are always like, oh, rapping, it came from the 50s, hip hop came from New York, from the ghettos of the Bronx, because of this living situation. They couldn't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
And many other styles of music
came
from the way that they had to live and their struggles and the way they were treated or the circumstances of their environment.
Yeah. Going back to blues, right?
Yeah.
Going right back to blues and all that stuff. You want to see some interesting interviews, you got to see like Chuck Berry interviews talking about stuff. Little Richard talking about how he was the starting point for Rolling Stones, Beatles. They all came to him, and like, so rock and roll is black. You know what I mean? Undoubtedly. And Ray Charles talking about Elvis. It's one of the best clips you can see. He's like, oh, you think he's good? Okay, I guess he's just doing what we've been doing the whole time. You know what I mean? It's and even just recently, it's EDM and house, and it's like it started in Chicago and Detroit. It started, and it started and a lot of the gay community it started in. So the EDM bros in Europe, you guys are tripping. Like they're so mad that Beyonce won this dance Grammy, and it's like she's a black woman doing the music that they created.
Yeah.
They don't care. Like she's supposed to win. It's actually pretty cool.
So what came up for you just now when you got emotional?
Just like I don't know. I just think about like my friends that I know, and like I don't know. It's coming up again.
Yeah. I mean, you came up at such a special time, Flipout. Like, there's not many people that we have the privilege to be able to sit down and speak to and know about like that era of hip hop that we're only learning about through the internet now. And that you witnessed it happening around you.
Yeah.
And it was your peers, it was your friends. I'm curious to know as well, like during that time, what was Vancouver hip hop?
It was super diverse, and it was like fringe. That's the thing that people don't realize. It was fringe, man, and like we were just, all kids that were into this same music that we thought was super cool, and it involved dancing, and it involved battling. Like it wasn't like listening to rock and stuff like that. You couldn't go and battle rock. It just appealed to a different kind of vibe, and we were all friends, you know what I mean? Like, and indigenous friends too. And like, we were all, cause a lot of it happened in East Van, right? So I had friends of all different walks of life. I didn't really have any, there was people from the West Side, we'd call it. And there a couple of them, but they would need to humble themselves when they came to the jams, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're rich or not. You're gonna can you do a front flip into the splits over your homie? Yeah. Because I can. Yeah. Can you do it over 6 of your homies? Yeah. Barry can. It was just a interesting time, because if the people that kept up with it it's like me, and the Rascals, like I see how they kept up with it, because we really loved it. It's so ingrained in us. And the cool thing about hip hop becoming so humongous is it just afforded us able to live off of it, which is kind of cool, right? It became more than just a childhood hobby. It became like a career that still I didn't have to bend too much of what I was truly into to stay in it. Sometimes I would a little bit, but not really. I would always think like if I'm doing 4 hours DJing at a radio station live on location, I could be working 4 hours, doing labor work, and I did that and I didn't really like it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. So this is okay. And if it doesn't work, then I can always just go to construction. It's fine.
Thank God it's always worked.
Yeah. I mean, but big up people that in construction too, right? Because, that's a hard job. Mm-hmm. But
so then how did, after high school, is that when we entered the era of entering radio?
Yeah, I kind of almost didn't finish high school, but I did, luckily. I was already in the group with Mad Child when I was in high school, so I stopped really going to school, and I was going to get...
What the Hell?
That's What the Hell, but it was Show and Tell before it was What the Hell.
Right, the picture we posted on our
IG. Show and Tell, and that was after Mad Child left the Rascals. So Mad Child was in the Rascals at first. They recruited him after he didn't win a rap battle, a rap contest, but he did really well. So they thought he was cool. Let's add him to the group. So for a hot minute, Mad Child was the other MC, along with Saul and Red One in the Rascals. And then he left the Rascals. And then he asked me, he's like, hey, you want to do a song together? So we did the one song. He's like, you want to just be in a group? And I was like, hell yeah, sure. And I think Mandeep had stopped rapping at that point and stuff. And I'd become more like in the scene than my high school friends, except for Rob. And then we just made this group, and we called ourselves Show and Tell. And we opened for Maestro at Paramount, which was the all ages weekly nightclub. And Maestro to this day remembers that because we gave him a shirt that Dedos designed, Show and Tell shirt. We gave him it. And he remembered it. I just saw him like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay.
I saw him, but I saw him earlier in the day that day because we saw LL Cool J together. I was at an LL Cool J concert with Maestro Fresh West. We're watching. Anyway, it's crazy. If you go back to when I was 13 and said that I would do that, I would be like, okay. But Stroh remembers the shirt. And he remembers the performance and stuff. And so yeah, I was doing that. So the principal called my mom in and was like, he's coming to no classes. But I would skip out school and stay on the school grounds in the gym on the stage where they had like wrestling mats put out, and I would practice dancing, teaching myself how to do backflips, teaching myself how to do gainers, which I broke my arm doing on that stage. So much stuff. So yeah, he's like, well, he's not going to class, but he's on school grounds, so I don't know how to feel about him. It's a bit of a weird situation. My mom's like, he's so bad, right? And he's like, my mom was so embarrassed, so like, oh my gosh, beside herself that she got called into the principal's office because I was like not going to class. And then the principal's like, Mr. Mercer, he was like, what are you gonna do after high school? Like, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, I'm actually gonna go and record an album because I'm in a rap group. I'm gonna record an album. And my mom's like, oh, see. And the principal goes, oh wow, that's cool. And my mom is white. She went, what? You're agreeing with him? You're like, enabling this insanity?
Yeah.
So that was a turning point for my mom, I think. So he's like, listen, you have 2 classes. There was 4 classes. It was like whatever it was, semesters, like 8 and 8. He's like, you have 4 classes. There's 4 classes. You only go to 2 of them now. Like, forget about the other 2. Yeah. They're in the morning. Go to your Spanish class and to whatever class. At lunch, you have to get off the schoolyard. You can't even stay for lunch. If I catch you I'm kicking you out of school if I catch you, whatever. And there was like 3 months left in school. So I'm like, okay. So I made it. Yeah. By just, and I made it. And then after I was done school, I signed up for night courses, night school to get my grades up for who knows why. I didn't have any college plans at all. And then Matt Child got us signed to a record label in California because he went with Rob Riss the year before and got interest from this record label, this really independent record label in San Fran. So we recorded a demo. That's what I was doing over at the time. And then we got signed from Vancouver. Then while we were working on our album, Matt Child's like, let's just go down there. And I'm like, guess so. I'm 18, right? Or 17? 18.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So I told my mom, like, I'm going to California. 18 years old, right? And she's like, no, there's no way. So I'm like, I need that paper route money in that bank account.
Yeah.
It was like $900 over like 10 years of paper routes. Not a lot of money. But my mom was like against it. And then like the day I was literally leaving, she drove to the bank and she took the money out.
Wow.
Yeah. Some money. She ended up wiring me like a couple $100. So I went to California with Matt Child in '93 around March. Stayed there for the entire year. And in that year we slept in our car. We slept in parking lots. Yeah, in our car. Parking lots. We had an apartment for a while. We got a job at Rob's uncle's pizza place in Redwood City, and we would sleep in the back where they kept the pizza boxes in the shed.
Wow.
With the roaches and stuff.
What?
And we performed. We got signed under management to Bomb Management, which was Bomb Magazine, which was a local magazine. Shout out Dave Paul. That's the homie still. So while we were recording the album, we were going to call it What the Hell. And then we're like, why don't we just call our group What the Hell? Show and Tell's played out. And we're like, okay, let's call it What the Hell. So then we ran with it. And we have actually an interview we did down there. We went to Billy Jam's radio show, TV show in Oakland, East Oakland.
Wow.
And we have an interview. It's on. It just got posted less than 3 years ago. Me and Matt Child being interviewed by the funkstress Pam.
Who's that?
She is legendary Bay Area DJ. She was Prince's DJ.
Whoa.
She passed away. So Pam, the funkstress, is interviewing me and Matt Child in East Oakland about our group, and we perform our song, rapping over Nothing But a G Thing.
Oh my god.
So it's out there, and yeah, I was 18 at the time, and Matt Child was 21, and we did that. We opened for Alcoholics, and when they first came out, Alcoholics and Ultramagnetic MCs at the Bomb Party. We opened for Souls at a party. We did some cool stuff, and I ended up getting homesick and just came back. And then Matt Child stayed in Cali, and that's how he did. That's how he is who he is. He stayed there, and he made a solo song on the Bomb compilation. Then he hooked up with all the Bay Area artists, came back, hooked up with Prev, took Prev from his group with Mocha. I battled Prev. There's too much.
There's so much.
There's too much.
We haven't even gotten into
There's
Jay's
too much.
swing.
Oh
We
my
didn't
God,
get
Jay's-
to flipping Jay.
Jay's been there the whole time. I met Jay in the recording studio because he was friends with Checkmate, and he was in a group with Checkmate. He was Checkmate's DJ. So we went to a recording studio called Midi City.
Slight interjection here.
Yeah.
Can you just paint a picture for us? What was Vancouver's, I guess, at that time? Like, how was it being received, Vancouver hip hop, the groups that were coming out of here, like Rascals and them? This is like the era of Much Music,
Yeah.
Rap City.
I mean, Rascals were getting coverage on Much Music. They would go out there, and they did a couple of. They were featured a few times. I remember being very excited because Barry gave me a shout out. Shout out to my friends at home, Rob. I think he said Phil. I didn't even say Flipout. But they were making noise going out east. But I was thinking about this before I came here, is that one thing in Vancouver, I think it's like this in other cities as well, is that people really get appreciated outside of Vancouver. And then in Vancouver, people start noticing it, and then they're like, oh, wow, they're from here. Or I know them. Then they act all cool, like, oh, I know them. You know, like, yeah, but you didn't support them. So,
Until they started making noise
Yeah.
somewhere else, like the East.
yeah, that goes for Rascals in Vancouver. That goes for Swollen Members in reverse when they got nominated, when they won the Juno. Everyone out east is like, who? And meanwhile, they've been touring Australia. I think they went to Europe at that time. Like, they were already doing stuff, and they were hugely popular, but not in Toronto, right? So that shocked them. All the way fast forward to Junk now. You know, Junk is is out there doing stuff, and if you're not following him, then you're not seeing that he's traveling all over and doing all this stuff. So when you see him here, and if you know him from here, you're just like, oh, he's doing a show here again. But like, he's everywhere. He's putting in work, and he's getting now appreciated. Sunreal, same thing, right? A lot of artists, a lot of hip hop artists, it's a shame that they don't get the full support, that people are excited about them in their own city. Like, this is my person. This person is Vancity. There's just not that. There's not that. People don't have that the pride, which is fine, because being proud of Vancity is a little weird too, right? Like, what do we have here? It's not really like super rich. I mean, we have these pockets. I don't know, I'm just dissing. I'm saying it's whack, and then I'm dissing at the same time.
Yeah. Case in point to what he was trying to point out.
But like,
it's that balanced perspective.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So back then, they were making noise, man. They were making noise, and then Rascals were on TV, and yeah. And
then you and Jay Swing got together.
I met Jay at the studio. And he literally said, hey, man, I got a bunch of records. You want to come over? You can record them. I go to Seattle every week, and I buy all the new hip-hop. And I'm like, okay. So me and Jay started our relationship. He was very open arms. He's like, come to my house in White Rock. So I'd drive to White Rock and record a mixtape to take all the new stuff and make a mixtape for myself and hang out with him, and just became friends like that, like hanging out. He's a cool guy to hang out with, very friendly, obviously. And then he just kept asking me to be like, hey man, you want to co-host the radio show with me? Because one of the co-hosts left. I was like, sure. He's like, hey man, you want to do this magazine? Like, sure. So, he spawned a lot of the ideas, and then I think we work well together, because he'll kind of spearhead the thing, but he can just tell me what to do. Not like do this, but like kind of like creatively tell me, like, like, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I'll just do it. And I like direction, right? So we work well together like that. And he's like a little bit meticulous, like kind of perfectionist. So he'll go over everything and make sure everything's cool. Whereas I'm like, I think it's done. Pretty sure it's done. Oh, there's a mistake. Okay, it's done. It's done. So Jay just was real. He was on his own path of knowing that college radio was the way to get into the industry, because he heard Chuck D say that in an interview. So he went to UBC. He went to CITR. Did not attend the school. He was dating someone that was there. So he was just at their dorm, doing nothing, and he's like literally wandering around like, let me check out the radio station here. And he saw you don't have to be a student. So he signed up for a show. He got a show, and then he's like, do you guys want a rap music program director, rap music director? And Linda Schulten, shout out to Linda, because she's the one that published our magazine on her credit card, personal credit card. We took her personal credit card to the printer to get elements printed up. We don't know how she got reimbursed from Discorder, but she did. But she gave her anyway. She's an incredible woman. So Jay was like, made this rap director position for himself. She's like, sure, do it. So he started phoning record labels and getting records, getting promos. Wow. And then he had an idea to do the magazine, because there's another magazine called Props by Maximus Clean, and we thought his magazine was whack. So we're like, if he can do it, we can do it. And we don't like his view. It's too like this. We're like, we don't appreciate his view. We're such haters, you know what I mean? We're just hating on everything. But it led us to do our own thing. Yes. Which is insane, right?
Yeah, you can't hate on something and then not do something about it, or else you're a lame hater.
That's true.
You know? If you're going to hate, you better do something that's going to come correct and be better than the thing you're hating on.
Yeah, that's the end of the show. Yeah, so Jay and I were doing that, yeah. And at the same... Jay did the Sound Wars, DJ Sound Wars. He did the second DJ Sound Wars ever,
Which were?
It was a competition at UBC for dancing, rapping, DJing. So Be Mellow performed, EQ I think performed. They didn't compete. They performed. A lot of b-boys from Seattle came up. DVS, shout out to Fever one. DVS later mentored Massive Monkeys.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Massive Monkeys, right?
Seattle.
From Seattle, yeah. So Fever is like their original mentor for Jaromski. He's like directly under Fever. And we learned from Fever because he was so good. He would come up to a jam and he would destroy us. And we were like, how can we ever be as good as that guy? Right? So the cool connection there. And shout out to Source of Labor, who were a rap group as well. And that's where we met Circle of Fire as well. Circle of Fire, who are house dancers, I guess, freestyle dancers.
B-boys and house dancers.
Yeah.
Club heads, the true club heads who are still at the club.
Yeah.
This is why they're fit in their 40s.
Yeah, shout out to Orb.
Yes.
Orb is the
Orb,
Orb
Free,
is the best.
Rob.
Free is sometimes I think my favorite b-boy of all time.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it fluctuates, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, Easy Rock is like, no, but Free.
Special.
Fredo's special.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so dope. So.
Sick.
Yeah. So.
I'd love to switch gears and ask you a bit more about radio.
Sure.
Without any formal training, you have had a long-lasting career in underground and commercial radio. You started in radio in the 90s before hip-hop even made it to commercial mainstream airwaves out here. So you've witnessed how the industry has evolved, you've seen how the technology in the industry has evolved, and you've seen how the culture has evolved around how we consume or listen to music. So I was thinking about what that must be like, the transition between college, underground to mainstream. What were some of the changes you had to adapt to, and how did you do it?
College radio and commercial radio are completely different, and DJing in the club is completely different, and DJing on Twitch is completely different. So any platform is quite different. The similarity, I guess, is that you're DJing and using the same equipment for the most part. Except on Twitch, you're using a camera. Commercial DJing is you're kind of given you're given a list of songs that you can play, and your job is to play the songs that the record label wants to promote. The record label pays to promote these records and then the radio station plays the most popular records, so the most people listen to the station, so that they can sell the advertising on the station. It's all radio is for, to sell advertising. When you're DJing in the club, your job is to play the music that will keep people dancing and excited to be there and drink and have fun. The only job of a purpose of a nightclub is to sell booze. Sorry, guys. So, and then DJing on college is where you get to play music that you want to share with everyone, which you can do in the other formats, but not as freely as college. College radio is a place to really express yourself because they don't have rules, or they don't have no one's paying money to play music. It's not payola. It's literally just a major record label being like, play this song on commercial radio. It's not like they're paying the DJ, like, play my song. It's just like, it's the song. Here's the Usher song. Play it. Here's Olivia Rodrigo. This is the song we want you to play all the time. And the radio station's like, okay, we will. And if the public likes it, then it gets bigger. If they don't like it, they keep playing it until they're like, look, the public really doesn't like it. Like, okay, take that one off. Try this one. You know what I mean? So, did that answer your question? Is that good?
Kind of. I mean, I had never had anyone actually break it down for me like that.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. What was your experience or your thoughts or opinions on that evolution?
I think it's kind of always been like that. I don't think it's changed. I think it's always kind of been like that. Some people on commercial radio in different markets and different places, they get to have freedom, and they, they're like breaking records and stuff. But
I guess I'm talking more so the way that the technology evolved.
Oh.
Because, radio was one of the main ways, unless you were buying physical music, that we consumed music.
Right.
And now we're in the era of internet and streaming and YouTubing, and like you can find music everywhere, and not everyone is necessarily tuning into a frequency at a very specific time.
True. Some people still need to be told what songs they should listen to. Some people don't like going on Spotify and even hitting radio, go to artist radio. Like, they like to turn on the radio that's free in their car, hear someone talking that's in their city about things that are happening in the city, and playing songs that they're like, okay, this is kind of cool, and just okay, this is cool, I like this song, or I don't like it, let me try the other station. You know what I mean? So some people still, they need things just given to them, marketed towards them, and it's to entertain them, because they don't want to put that much effort into it. People like us are creatives. We look for things to show other people. Other people are just looking for, they're not searching for stuff. They're just, they need stuff given to them. It's all give and take, right?
Yeah.
I need someone to cook for me, right? I'm not looking for new recipes. I'm not looking to forage. You know what I mean? So God bless those people that forage and do that, and like, oh, present me with a nice menu at a restaurant, and I will eat it. So we are the chefs of music.
Yes.
And a radio station is a very local, it's kind of personal, because you still have the people that are talking live there. Even a podcast is not live, right? So radio still has a little bit of a edge. They play music, and they're talking at the time that they're live.
Yeah.
At the same time.
So with the Beat 94.5, when it first came out, and then you got asked to bring the show Straight Goods with Jay Swing on there, what was that like? Especially it being its first all urban music at that time.
Yeah, we kind of we didn't audition, but we were invited to do a set at the soft launch at the Commodore. So Matthew McBride, who was the original program director, heard about us, or was interested, because he was trying to make it very authentic. I guess we were authentic because we were doing radio. We were on CFox for a while, actually, before that. Shout out David Hawks. And so we performed at the Commodore, and I was on the mic, and I was doing whatever club mic work, and Jay was DJing, and I was DJing, and Matthew just said there, he's like, that's what I want. I want you guys to do a show. That's what I need on the radio station. So we just got the show. And then when I sat down with him, I'm like, look, I want to also do my own hosting apart from it. So then I also had like my own solo shifts. So because I was really into radio. Oh, excuse me. Front door.
That's okay. Maybe can you do a quick time check, Jamal?
You know what? Oh my God, I have to go.
Oh no.
Because I have my radio show.
Oh, it's at 5.
Yeah.
Oh snap. Okay, Max, how many more minutes do we have with you?
6.
6 minutes.
Okay.
So sorry, guys.
No, that's okay. We had some fun. I think we should just jump into our fun question.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's
I
okay.
cried.
We got the clickbait for the tears. We'll just use that one clip. And it's like
My cry face. I don't know what it is.
It's cute.
It's
Don't
suppressing
worry.
cry face.
No,
okay,
no, it's good. So we came up with a section we wanted called the deep dive.
Sorry, I have you guys. I have the buzzer for my door on my phone, so I need to let someone in. I need to let someone in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, 6 minutes with Flipout. We're gonna do this.
6 minutes.
Okay, this is like quick answers, eh?
Yeah.
Quick answers. Deep dive. We're calling this Jazzy Wanna Know. Okay. You once said that you bumped I Wanna Rock by Snoop on repeat while getting ready to leave the house. Jazzy Wanna Know, what have you been listening to on repeat lately, your pump up jam? Go.
Oh man, I've been listening because we go on a bike ride with my 22-month-old daughter.
Shout outs to Mars.
Shout out to Mars. So every time we get on the bike, I've been playing Renaissance album, Beyonce's Renaissance album. Hey. So now her favorite song is Energy, and she wants to hear Energy. And she does the beat with her mouth. and then it goes into Break My Soul. So I guess Energy and Break My Soul, like the Renaissance album is on
Fire.
repeat. And also Joy and Pain by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock.
Hell yeah.
Just trying to get her to sing songs. Anyway.
Next.
Yeah. Jazzy wanna know.
Jazzy want to know.
Why is Beirut, Lebanon, your favorite place that you've traveled?
Oh, man.
Or has that changed?
No, it's one of the most special places. It stems from being friends with Rob Risk and just knowing him personally. And when I was there, I learned about the history of the country. And it's just like the country is just in the middle of all this stuff happening. Everything happens to them. You know, there's rubble on rubble on rubble of complete annihilation. You know, they have, you know, how you cut into a mountain and you see different eras. You cut into Lebanon, you'll literally see the rubble of the city several times. Like
Yes, it's been destroyed and rebuilt.
so many times.
Yeah.
Jamal's family ancestries from there.
Oh wow, yeah. So yeah, it's kind of the center of everything. So it's amazing. And the people are amazing. The food is amazing, and it's so beautiful too. So beautiful and very corrupt. But damn
Okay.
it.
You once said the best advice you received was from Jazzy Jeff, in which he said, "Die empty." Jazzy want to know, what does that mean to you?
Die Empty, the way that Jeff presented it was, if you're an artist and you're sitting on music, a musical artist, and you're just waiting for the right time to release it, the right time is now. Because if you die tomorrow, you want to die empty. You want to release everything all your creative output. You don't want to hold anything back for any weird reasons. You don't want to hold yourself back. And he actually got that from an author. I forget who the author is, but yeah, die empty. And it's a great, you can interpret it in many different ways, right? So I'm just like, it could be as simple as I make an edit and then I'm like, oh, I should finesse this a little more before I even put it out. I'm like, no, I make the edit, I make a clip, and I just put it on Instagram right away. And then maybe I'll redo some stuff. I'm like, no one's paying that close attention where they're going to be like, wait a minute, you already posted that and it didn't sound like this. Like nobody cares that much. Just keep throw your stuff out there, especially in this day and age when you need content, right? So.
All right. Jazzy wants to know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do know that you have ventured into acting.
Yes.
As another endeavor, and according to your IMDb, you were in the show Altered Carbon in 2018, and you played enraged person number 3. Jazzy want to know, what were you enraged about, and can you reenact it?
Oh my gosh, that show was so bizarre.
What was it?
Oh my gosh, we were like, I was like a part of a memory of one of the characters, and I was just like yelling something, and it's literally I don't even know if I made the cut, but it was like a flash. I was enraged.
Yeah, you were enraged person number 3 was your credit.
Oh man, I don't remember. But oh my
Reenact
gosh,
it, go.
I don't remember.
Just your enragement, go.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can't remember.
That's it. Okay.
Oh my gosh,
we're moving on.
that's so funny.
Okay, you interviewed Jay-Z before his first album came out. In a past interview, you made mention that you felt unfulfilled or slightly cringe, as if you didn't really get to take advantage of that moment and ask him the questions you wanted to ask. Therefore, Jazzy want to know, if you were to get the chance to interview him mañana, tomorrow, what would you want to ask him?
Who, Jay-Z?
Yeah.
Jigga?
Yeah.
Oh man, I would play him. I have the tape, the audio tape. I would play him that interview. And then I would go through it. I was like, yo, when you said this, because he said something like, he alluded to something in that interview. This is the part that kills me, where something significant happened in his life. He's like, and then, some stuff happened and blah, blah. And I glossed over it. And I was like, you're just going to have one album on Rockefeller? And da, da, da. Like he was helping me in the interview. You got to hear the audio. I have the audio. It's so
Yeah, we wanna hear
cringe. But there was a part there where he could have explained the turning point for him. And I missed it. Yeah, I missed it. But he did tell me that he did a remix, just came back from doing a remix with Melissa Morgan, Fool's Paradise remix of Can't Knock the Hustle, which came out. And I remember that remix, which is super dope. But I can't believe I got a phone interview with Jay-Z, right? It's insane. and wasted it.
Jazzy wanna know.
All right.
How has stepping into fatherhood changed your perspective on life, and what do you want to impart on your next generation?
And also, is Mars named after Mars Blackman in Do the Right Thing?
I mean, she's not.
Yeah.
But that was part of the what are cool things that are named Mars. Yeah. And we found out later that Erykah Badu's daughter is named Mars as well. Oh. But that had nothing to do with us. Okay. We chose one name, and we didn't know if Mars would be a boy or girl coming out party. And I'm very happy that she is who she is. The name fits awesome. She came out in a rage. She had what they call a precipitous birth, which is like very fast. It's like 0 to 100, natural, just.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank God for Kelly.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's intense. You guys, like, people that give birth, women. Yeah. You guys are
people
the best.
With uteruses.
Yeah, you are the best. And I would like to just something that's very, very my top thing with raising her is to always listen to her. I don't mean just like listen to her opinion. I mean watch her and listen to her, even what she's not saying. Like listen to her and make sure she's heard with her emotions, with things like that. Because I was lacking that in my upbringing. I wasn't listened to because there was 4 of us. It was crazy. My mom was in a new country. My dad was working all day, so I wasn't listened to. So it had a negative. There's negative things that kind of like I have residual kind of things about my personality that I don't want her to have because it's tough to fight that when you're an adult. Like you always want someone to like you. You don't want to ruffle feathers and stuff like that. I want her to be confident that what her opinion is the one that matters, and she's the best. You know what I mean? Like you're the best, and no one can tell you you're not. That's all you need, because that's like, I guess what I'm saying is I want to make sure her self-esteem is very strong, that she doesn't need any outside
anyone to validate her.
Yeah. Because when you're starving for attention as a child, you start looking other places, and I don't know if that made me a performer or not. I think I would still be a performer. I actually think I might have been even better at it, or even more comfortable at it, because I still get super nervous for stuff, and I still get so self-doubt is so heavy. It's crazy heavy. Like in acting too. Like in acting, the self-doubt is so heavy sometimes in people that for me, I had that's what led me to go to see a counseling, was through acting, because I was having a hard time having the confidence in acting. But then when I was in counseling, I learned all this other stuff about my childhood, and I was like, oh, it's a lot. So learning about yourself, and then breaking generational curses.
Yes.
Cycles. Curses, wow. Yeah. That's a Freudian slip and a half. Yeah. Wow, for your child. Yeah. A generational curse. Yo. God. Damn.
This is the last Jazzy Wanna Know.
Okay.
And then we're going to go. We're gonna let you go.
I have to speed.
Jazzy Wanna Know, is there anything major on your bucket list you still want to accomplish within the world of hip-hop?
I don't know.
Or if that even matters to you anymore.
I mean, I got to meet LL Cool J, and he kind of knew me from a mix that I did on his radio station, so it's incredible, And I don't know. I'm so happy to still to be here doing it still, and being able to be more humble about it. Because I think when I was younger, I was more arrogant. I was arrogant. I was a little bit entitled because I thought I was so hip hop. Yeah. And
totally an era of wanting to prove, still wanting to prove something.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, I could have just been kind of more friendly and open and stuff. It would have been probably better. So I'm happy to be older, and to be around other older people that are also like that, who have opened up. A lot of the older legends, New York legends, they had the hardcore kind of shell on them. They've all loosened up, and we're all literally happy to be alive, because a lot of people pass away from tragedy. Suddenly people pass away through health. A lot of people don't take care of themselves. So yeah, as we get older, we're just really happy to be here and be able to help the younger people. And hopefully, you can't show them everything, but man, you gotta tell them. You gotta look back at what's been done.
Yes.
Can't just think you're just doing it for the first time. It's ridiculous. Be thankful that there was people doing it. No one now is doing it on a scale that anyone else didn't do it in relative terms. Like Drake is the biggest artist, right? But LL was huge. Even the Fat Boys were huge. They're touring the world, you know. So just learn your history. Learn your friggin' history.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Flipout.
you.
We appreciate your time,
Woo!
your knowledge, everything. We know you got to go. So please, if you don't know about Flipout, find him on the Instagram, find him on the internets, learn more about Vancity's hip-hop history. He's got to go. We got to go. This has been Kazi, Jamal, Flipout. We appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to Vancity
Beats, eats, and more. Yeah.
Flipout's going to 94.5 right now. Tune in. 5
Hey, yo,
p.m.
5 p.m. Traffic jam. And peace.